riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, trumpeter to my tromboner, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Well, Garrett, I am delighted by that opening, but I'm also disappointed and saddened at how bad this week's album, band, whole experience was.
Yeah, this thing really went sideways on us, didn't it? And not in a fun way.
Yeah, I expected it to be fun, but no.
If you're new to the show, or even if you're not, do you think people realize every week we just want this to be a good time?
It never is, though. Well, sometimes it is.
Sometimes it's great.
But, yeah.
Sometimes it's O.A.R, though. Yeah. O.A.R. All right, Timmy. Well, I've already tipped it a little bit, but let's get right into things this week. What album have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
We have been listening to the fourth-rate jam band O.A.R's 1997 debut LP, The Wanderer, featuring the only O.A.R song anyone knows or should know at least. And this episode is brought to you by Nick C., who asked us politely not to do this album/song, and Big Ears 83, who did ask us to do this in his or her Apple review that Garrett read last week. It's also brought to you, of course, by Adam and Eve, ZipRecruiter, HelloFresh, and CBS Diamond Mining and Fracking. Check your local listings. Young Shelton is currently airing Thursday nights before United States of Al, which you should also watch.
There's a lot of information in there. I think I might know one of the people you're talking about. Sometimes people from our real life listen to the podcast and it is uncomfortable.
Not me.
Right. Not you, because you have no friends.
I have friends. I have interns. God damn it. Do I have no friends? Okay.
Oh, stark revelations early on in the show. But revelations aside, Tim, after an entire week with O.A.R's The Wanderer, I have to ask, it's in the title, do you hate this album?
Not yet. However, I think I'm like an hour away from hating it.
Ooh, like a bad news.
What about you, Garrett? Do you hate this?
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to give you the mature answer. No, I don't hate this. We have listened to so much more hate-worthy albums.
I don't know about that.
Interesting. Easy. It is produced fine. They are fine at their instruments. And we're going to get into all the things that aren't so fine in a bit. But it's hard for me to put them in the full-on hate category. However, the slightly less mature answer is that I really didn't have a good time this week. I fucking hated this week. I thought it was going to be fun. I thought it was going to be enjoyable. I thought it was going to be at least really good jam band music. And I was hugely disappointed across the board. So I don't hate it yet, Tim, but I think a stiff breeze might get me there and I'll hate all over this thing.
Nope, not doing anything for you. It's just making you look angry.
Yeah, don't ever breathe in my face again. What was that? Anyway, Tim doesn't hate it. I don't hate it yet. Before we can talk about the album itself, we need to understand if this is our first exposure to such a thing. So, Tim, I'm curious, prior to this week, what is your experience with the O.A.R. and had you ever wandered before?
Well, I went to college in the early 2000s, so I have heard Crazy Game of Poker hundreds of times. I was gonna say I've not heard that or anything else, to my knowledge, by these fellas in at least 15 years. However, when I got to the second half of this album, there is one song that I think I might recognize more than the poker one.
Oh my God, don't tell me.
I'm not gonna.
Don't tell me.
I will, though, later.
Listeners, write in. What song do you think it's gonna be?
It's the weirdest possible one. I guarantee you that. So I've heard this, again, the song that everyone's heard. I've heard it a lot. I assumed I liked it. Like in my memory, it was a good, not good. It was a passable song from a band. I don't know. I thought this was going to be better than it was. I've heard some of this music before. What about you, friend? Is this the first time your proverbial oar has been dipped into these jam rock?
Keep going. Keep going. Tim, you're doing great. What a low point for the show and you personally. But I think what you're trying to ask me is whether or not I've heard this pile of no fun before. And sad to say, yeah, my history, same as yours. Minus that mystery song you're going to reveal at some point during the episode, but not yet. All right, that's your history. That's my history. Before we can talk about the album itself, we need to understand a little bit about these boys. So, Tim, take us on a journey. Help us understand. Who is O.A.R. or O.A.R. as they're often known, and how did The Wanderer come to be?
Well, Garrett, I think as you would expect if you've heard this album, this band was formed initially by middle schoolers in Rockville, Maryland, but it wasn't really a serious or official band until they made it to high school. In like 96, they began calling themselves Of a Revolution, or O.A.R., before they went off to The Ohio State University, where music.osu.edu tells me that Mark Roberge, vocalist and guitarist, graduated with a degree in English in 2001. Chris Koulos, drums, graduated the same year with a degree in political science. Bej Gersman on bass attended but did not graduate. And Richard on guitar, I don't think he got accepted. I think he just moved to Ohio State with them. And
he geographically went to school there.
Right.
Just,
Right.
Sad to say, Tim and I had friends that did this.
Yep, they went to Austin Community College because it was close to University of Texas. Allegedly, Garrett, there's a word that precedes the of that the band refuses to reveal to preserve a cool mystery. I don't know. I tried to think of what the word might be. I don't know.
Children of a revolution?
Maybe. Jaw of a revolution, taking advantage of a revolution.
Leaders of a revolution.
Exploiters of a revolution. Cowards of a revolution. Secret ska of a revolution. There's a whole lot of things.
War profiteer of a revolution.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a nasty name, but you can make quite a killing if you're into war profiteering.
Honestly, you can make enough money that you can separate yourself from anyone that will call you any nasty names.
Oh, yeah, no. Honestly, if you do it right, you're a philanthropist.
Ooh, yes.
I've heard.
You get to write op-eds in Washington Post sometimes, too.
Yep.
Anyway, from my attempt at matching up the dates, the album of the week was recorded their senior year in high school and released their freshman year in college, something like that. And they became fairly popular as a local act at Ohio State and some other colleges, and they began touring extensively, building up a following without any sort of actual marketing or anything like that. And that makes sense because I think from a lot of different perspectives, these guys are college party band quality, but they just kind of kept on, I guess. And in 1999, they went back to Silver Springs, Maryland to Gizmo Recording to record their second album, Souls Aflame. And then they met Jerry DePizzo, saxophone, back at Ohio State and filled out their lineup unnecessarily. They toured more, released The Risen in 2001, then they signed to Lava Records in 2002, released In Between Now and Then in 2003, which finally made it onto the Billboard charts. It hit number 156, and they've made it, Garrett. Lava Records, by the way, has released albums by Fountain of Wayne, Simple Plan, Kid Rock, The Blue Man Group, who I was unaware were recording artists, Matchbox 20, Lord, and Greta Van Fleet.
I want to be in the back of the minivan of the mom that bought that. My God, she was high on Blue Man that day. That was, Jonathan, that was just amazing. I want to hear that every day. I'm going to put that in the Sebring. That's insane. We've covered this before, Tim, but I remember as a child of the 90s getting in some kids' cars and their parents were playing the soundtrack to the hit Broadway show Stomp.
Ooh, I like that. Have you seen the hit Broadway show Stomp?
Nope, but I've heard it. And it is noise. It's noise the musical.
Can I assure you of this? The show is better than the album.
I don't doubt that, but only because it has to be.
Oh,
it's brooms and trash cans. It's a racket.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, go ahead.
In 2005, they released Stories of a Stranger, which debuted at number 40 on the Billboard 200. But despite the fact that these albums don't really seem to sell that well, they sold out Madison Square Garden in 2006.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like 18,000 people. I don't know if that's the right number. I apologize to Madison Square Garden if I am undercounting you.
It feels close.
In 2008, they released All Sides. In 2011, they released released King. Now that hit number 12 on the Billboard 200. And then according to music.osu.edu, the gang went back to OSU and picked up tromboner Evan Oberla, 2009 Jazz Studies graduate, and trumpeter John Lampley, 2013 Jazz Studies graduate, possibly in an attempt to become full-on ska. Garrett, is this a ska band?
Not as of the listening that we've done.
I disagree. Then they made a song called Champions with rappist B.O.B. in collaboration with Duracell batteries in support of Team USA at the 2012 London Olympics.
20,789.
Oh, I wasn't that far off. In 2014, they released the Rockville LP. That hit number 13 on the Billboard 200. In 2018, they released The Mighty, which was named after a time that Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi fame, lead guitarist for Bon Jovi, referred to them as the Mighty O.A.R. when introducing them at Red Rocks, which they have also sold out numerous times.
Okay, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to pause the history for just a moment. How are they more popular than they were in 2001 when I first and last heard of them?
I don't know. I assume they've gotten much, much better at playing That Was a Crazy Game of Poker. And I do, when we get to that song, I do have some stats because I looked up the lengths that they go to with that song at various places. It's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, they know what their audience is there for.
Yep, and weirdly too. Also in 2018, they got a weird bump in popularity with the 2018 Winter Olympics when Russian athletes were all banned from the Olympics for systemic cheating and then re-allowed to compete under the moniker Olympic Athletes from Russia, or O.A.R., and people started Googling that and got the ban.
And we're pretty confused.
Yeah. Lead singer Mark Roberge said, "It's been surreal. Absolutely surreal. At first I thought it would be a cool coincidence. Maybe somebody would mention it on TV or something. But now, every single morning I'm getting phone calls, emails, text messages, family, friends, strangers. It's pretty wild to think somebody is watching the Olympics and thinking about us."
Wait a minute.
Strangers have his phone number somehow and are calling him to ask him about the Olympics.
Because he said family and friends, which means people who know you are calling you to be like, "Hey, O.A.R., I was watching curling on the TV and I saw that one of the people, they had a shirt that said O.A.R. and they were Russian, but it didn't say Russia. Are they you?"
Yeah, and also strangers. So they're getting this from families and friends who are confused as to whether or not they are Russia, and they're also somehow strangers who are inexplicably have their phone number. And it's
we'll assume they're DMing them over Twitter, but again, the question seems to be, "Hey, band O.A.R., I was watching the Olympics and I saw people competing and it said O.A.R. Is that you?" What? No, what's your question? Yes, we are O.A.R. the band, and we are also competing in the Olympics. Yes, we are the women's hockey team you are watching currently, and also the band of a revolution.
On November 18th, 2021, Garrett, a couple weeks ago, they released a new single, Alive, and they will allegedly release a new album in 2022. To date, they have sold, according to them, almost 2 million total albums, and way more concert tickets than that. Presumably, everyone that has purchased an O.A.R. album has inadvertently or possibly vertently seen them at least once live.
Interesting. Vertently. Advertently. No. Inadvertently. Advertently.
Oh, no, I think, you know what? My mistake. Divertently.
Divertently. Thank you. Boy, I mean, they have to have. Listen, we say some tough words on this show from time to time. It's mostly just for funsies. And I will never knock anybody for making a living, especially doing what they love. Congratulations, O.A.R. Having said that, it's shocking that they're able to do this as a full-time job.
It really is.
Right? Excellent history, Tim. That brings us to general thoughts. We're barely into this episode, Tim, and we have blown past the history. I think my general thought is there's just not a lot here.
I remember this being professional-ish jam rock, something slightly worse than a Widespread Panic or String Cheese or Dave Matthews. This is way worse. This, first of all, this is reggae/ska for large swaths.
It's definitely reggae.
It's hornless ska. That might be reggae. I don't know. Again, this feels like a really good house party band. Parts of it sound like mediocre Texas country, like a Cory Morrow or Pat Green type thing. And I know, including the good song. And then parts of the only song anyone should know from this sound like Sublime demos.
Oh, yeah, there is a real Sublime-y vibe. The only thing I'll add, I guess the The only spice I'll add to the mix there that you didn't mention is I think they do shoot for Black Crow's heights at times.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can tell that they're kind of trying to emulate that.
Well, sure. Nobody's saying they sound like. That's not a sounds like, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break it down as we do. First, let's focus just on the music. As we've said, pretty traditional jam band, except we made an allusion to reggae. Oh, I think you just out and out said reggae. Now, to be clear, this is trash white guy reggae, right?
Yeah, Sublime.
Sublime. Yeah, it really is. It also relies, in my opinion, far too heavily on the warm and bright guitar sound.
Yeah, they sound like jaunty island numbers. Some of this sounds kind of like Jimmy Buffett, Garrett.
Well, I mean, Tim, my first note is this is jammy Buffett.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It doesn't really know what it wants to be because it's, again, these are, to be clear, white guys from Rockville, Maryland that went to Ohio State. Try to make sure you keep that image in your mind when we talk about these songs and when we play these songs, because that is incongruous with what they are, not how they sound, because it does sound like white guys from Rockville, Maryland that went to Ohio State, but it's incongruous with what they're trying to do.
Sure. Okay, so we talked about the reggae, we talked about the jam bandiness of it. It is a bit ska adjacent now that you mention it, and we'll get into more detail for sure. I actually think let's talk length of music. Many of these songs are 7+ minutes.
Yep. These 9 songs average 5.5 minutes each. And yeah, they have nothing to say in them. There's no reason for that. A lot of these songs have 2.5-minute intros.
Yeah. And that's an excellent transition into the question of what is being said in this album. And I mean, the short answer, not much.
Yeah. Some of them feel like they're trying to do Rastafarian proverbs that just don't go anywhere. Like, there's no point to any of them. It's just kind of a couple of things happen.
Yeah, they came up with the first sentence and they're like, well, I'll write the first sentence and obviously the song will flow from there. But it doesn't. You get some songs that are sort of these like little limericks where it's sort of a weird reggae, not a psalm, parable. But again, there's no lesson to be learned and they kind of drift off. And then you've got these other ones that they're like listening to a guy tell you a story and midway through the story, he realizes it's a bad story. And so he just kind of keeps looking for a spot to bail. And you're left just going like, what is happening? Track number 4. Okay. What are you, O.A.R?
Yeah. And the other interesting thing is the way they're saying it. It seems like the lead and backing vocalists are competing to see who has the worst voice.
Yeah, who can shout louder.
And it just never works. And the other thing that bothered me is I remember this being much more tolerable.
You used to drink a lot more.
Yes, that is exactly what I was going to say. I enjoyed this at 19 because of the drinking problem.
Right. No, that's accurate.
Now, here's the thing.
It's much easier to tolerate.
Here's the thing. So I listened to this 6 days this week, completely sober. Wednesday,
we weren't going to talk about that.
Wednesday, I drank so much. And listened to nothing but this, and I screamed this, and I got lyric sheets, and I sang along to it for Garrett, and then I pulled out the guitar, and I started playing. Oh, by the way, when we said this is jam band, this is acoustic jam band. We should mention that, of course.
Exclusively.
Yes. So I pulled out the guitar, and here's the thing. I don't know how to play guitar, but yeah, I played some guitar, and I sang some O.A.R, and I just got drunker and drunker, and honestly, I will give Gino this. He matched me 1 for 1, and I don't think he slept that night. I think he kept listening to O.A.R after I, threw up on your couch
really
bed
and
slept in my couch bed.
Yeah, I mean, now, Tim, I don't know if you want to talk at all about the other things that happened that night. For instance, where that guitar ended up at the end of the evening, firmly placed in the wall. Well, when you, for lack of a better word, tackled the refrigerator, and when I asked why, you'd only tell me he knows why. First of all, didn't know it was a he. Congratulations on that.
Oh yeah, we have a boy refrigerator. That precedes the drinking.
So you guys just have an ongoing thing. Great.
No. I named him.
And where did you sleep that night?
I slept in my couch bed.
And Gino...
He didn't sleep. I don't know what he did. He kept playing, I think. Anyway, it's... the point is it didn't really make it better. Like, I still knew it was bad. So I don't know if I can blame the drink.
You did, like... I wouldn't say you enjoyed it, but you were doing something.
Well, sure. I was enjoying making you miserable.
Yeah, that's for sure. But, like, it was beyond that. I think you enjoyed the soundtrack to my madness.
Yeah, but who wouldn't?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
The only other thing that I would like to talk about in the general thought section here is the cover. Because the cover, I think, is a perfect encapsulation of the album, right? It seems like the kind of cover art and logo that I would have come up with in 96 if I've just completely forgot to do the assignment for a middle school visual art class and tried to throw something together a few minutes before class. And that seems like the recording process, too.
Oh, yeah. No, tough words, Tim. And keep in mind, they are, 17 when they make this album?
Oh, sure. It's better than I could have done at 17. But again...
Or tomorrow.
Yeah, well, definitely better than I did on Wednesday. We did record that, right?
Oh, yeah. Audio and video. Find the feed. Yeah, so let's describe it. I'm going to do my best. It is... Is that wood? Is that wood paneling? What is the background?
I think it is digital stylized wood. Yes.
Okay.
I think what it's trying to be is a sticker on a surfboard or a skateboard or something like that.
Okay. Or telephone pole.
Sure.
And then below it in a completely different font. That might be like some sort of sans serif. I don't even know, Tim. What's the one everybody hates?
Comic Sans?
Yeah, it's not quite Comic Sans, but it's not good. It spells out ... of a revolution, which quite honestly, I'd never understood or even thought to understand the ellipses that precedes of a revolution. It implies there is a beginning.
Yes.
Daughters of the American Revolution? That doesn't fit. Boy, it feels like cowards.
Valor thefts of a revolution?
Robots of a revolution.
Ooh, I like that. If this band is Robots of a Revolution, I'm kind of in. Because then it's Roar, and that's a way better name.
God, Roar is a better name. Ooh, new band, Tim. Let's start Roar. But we'll just do nothing but O.A.R. covers in robot voices. It was a crazy game of poker.
In. Yes. You know what? We already have the first one recorded. That's good.
I lost it all. Oh, God.
You do everything in that voice, and then I do my best to do the backing vocals like they are on the album.
Oh, God. Oh, you're going to give people an aneurysm. That is unsafe. Don't listen to that while driving. In this wacky world, Tim, there might be space for a roar. Robots of a revolution. Anywho. All right. Oh, you know what? While we're talking about the cover and not knowing anything about O.A.R. and not understanding why their name is Of a Revolution, I half expected this to be a Christian band.
That does actually make sense. Yeah. Jesus is the ultimate revolution, right?
Right. I thought it was like children of a revolution, the revolution of Christ. Oh. Or leader of a
savior
revolution.
of a revolution.
Oh my God. There it is.
We have established that they're not very good at writing songs in general, and that they sort of peter out halfway through. What if this is a Christian band and they just couldn't quite hold it together to get to the end part where Jesus shows up?
All right, bros, here's what we're going to do. We're going to write like the outline of the songs, right? And then we'll just get our Bibles out and weave in the Christian references afterwards. It'd be much easier than trying to write a song about, I don't know, Elijah or Ezekiel. Makes sense, Tim. And then they just, smoked a doob and hit the beach and forgot to throw in that Galatians reference.
That Ohio State beach.
Oh, right. They were in Ohio State. Go Walnuts. Okay. I think that gets us there. Let's get into it, Tim. Track number 1, Missing Pieces.
This starts off, and I think you said it best with the happy guitar. It feels like it's going to be a fun island number. Mm-hmm. And then, there's a reggae beat that comes on, and I think this is already ska, to be honest. But it's weird because when the lyrics kick in, they're 17 max when they write this. These words don't make any sense from 17-year-olds. The words in this song, they're too world-weary for...
Yeah.
It sounds like it was written by 43-year-old men who are dealing with their first divorce. This is a reverse Blink-182. Instead of old men singing about children, these are children singing as if they are old men.
They're fetishizing middle age. That's weird.
Well,
who
people
does
did that? People did that, man. Think...
We're gonna have to bleep that name, but abso-fucking-lutely. Wow, that guy was going face first into his 40s at 21.
Yeah.
Weird. I wonder where that arrow landed.
Some lucky lady.
I guarantee you that guy's going to have no less than 2 divorces. We definitely are going to have to bleep that name now. You're 100% right, Tim, though. This is a bunch of kids pretending to be adults. I was picturing, especially for the first song, sort of a Rum Diaries-like character.
It's crazy, though, because they skip the party. They skip straight to the hangover, to the This Is Tearing Me Apart.
Yeah, I mean, this first song, Tim, you know who he kind of reminds me of is not Bobby Chicago, but what was his friend's name from that movie?
Jellicle Kane.
Jellicle Kane. You know, he's kind of living that... What is absolutely normal name, and this is my friend Bobby Chicago.
Okay, so in
Anyway,
your mind, these children are channeling an alcoholic Arnold Schwarzenegger who is providing professional bodyguard service to the devil after his family was gunned down in his own home.
Yes.
I woke up with a headache from the night before, because sometimes I drink. I spent the night with my head in a toilet bowl. It's where I like to think. I say because I don't want no one to take a piece of my heart. I hate to lose all those itty-bitty pieces of my heart. La 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 la, E-A-O-A la. And
Aleo. That's a big part of 80% of these songs, so
yes,
you got to get it right.
This is almost scatting. Not quite scatting yet, but it is a harbinger of some bad things to come.
This song, honestly, bit of a tease. We get the warm, bright guitar that's, super jammy riff, and you're like, okay, this isn't going to be so bad. Song's only 2 minutes and 50 seconds. That's awesome. I was expecting way worse. And, the lyrics aren't so great. The scatting is not what I want it to be. And you're right, Tim, this is ska adjacent, just touching tips. But I'm comfortable calling it reggae for now. Unfortunately, all of these things are going to increase exponentially as we go on. But before we get there, let's examine some of the things you just read. Very Jericho Kane-like morning, blending pizza and maybe a beer from Hair of the Dog. I think that happens in that movie. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's from the hit film End of Days. We did a podcast on it. Go listen. But woke up from a headache. He's hungover. He drinks too much. Ends up with his head in a toilet bowl. But the part I want to dwell on for a moment is I don't want no one to take a piece of my heart. I hate to lose all those itty bitty pieces from my heart. Aside from just the dumb way of saying that, we're just going to put that aside. Don't care. That's table stakes.
Right. They're children.
But I want to...
It's fun.
Yeah. I just want to understand, is he drinking to avoid falling in love? Is that what I'm to take away here?
I think so. I think that he, having had, as a 17-year-old, several divorces, yeah, it definitely sounds like he's just like, man, women aren't worth it. And just drink.
Yeah, he sounds like a washed up, sad sack at the end of the bar at a Chili's, 3 hours past happy hour, saying, what my problem is? I love them all. That's why I gotta stay in the booze, so I don't fall in love again.
Now, Garrett, when I met you, that sounds remarkably similar to something you, as a much older man, told me as a 17-year-old boy. I could have been O.A.R. Maybe this is what happened. Perhaps O.A.R. went to college and they met their own Garrett, a much older man who had a drinking problem and several failed relationships. And they just kind of wrote down stuff that he said, and then they just transformed it into songs. And, they're fresh-faced and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and etc.
Sure.
And so it sounded better coming out of their mouth, but it was really the words of this proverbial college Garrett who's just there hanging out, being old.
I do not love this characterization of me. Again, I have to point out that the number of months in our age difference is in the 20s, but that is to say we are less than 2 years apart. However, yes, I was technically older than you. I don't want to discuss my multiple failed relationships on this show. Not again. But yes.
The time you were tricked by that young lady's father when you had your face painted shut.
That's not how that happened.
Go back and listen. Shaggy.
Tim, if I go back and listen to that episode and I hear me tell a story about being, well, what it's ultimately can only be described as molested by a grown man when I was 17, I'm going to be it's going to shake my world.
Well, then you don't go listen to it. Our listeners should go listen to it because that's exactly what happened.
I do not think so. I am pretty sure I tell a very erotic story about my early dalliances.
She painted your head shut or your face shut, and then she giggled while stuff happened.
That's not what happened. You weren't there.
I listened to the story, Garrett. I listened to it once a week. Anyway, we should probably move on. This is the shortest song on the album, and we've spent a lot of time on it.
Oh, God, you're right.
Well, one more. Let's do one more verse here. You ever spent all night thinking about your life? Well, I suggest you try. Well, it's something that you're going to want to do in the night, because I tend to cry.
You're not going to want to reflect on the life choices you've made in public. That's a one-way ticket to Tear Town.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was joking. What are you saying? Well, you cry the minute you hit the 20-minute mark alone, so you're not a barometer.
That's fair. I don't know.
Abandonment issues. You can say it.
Okay.
You're like a doggy.
Track number 2. Garrett, that was a crazy game of poker. Again, we start off with more jaunty reggae-inspired noodling on the guitar for no reason.
Yeah, it's a little less jammy. It's a little more country folk pop because there's many, many songs here that are like... This is at least more of a song.
Right, but this, I like that you said that this is kind of country-inspired because to me, this one was the one that sounded the most like a bad Cory Morrow type song. It's because you know how he did like covers of he did Real Big Fish covers, right?
Oh God, that sounds right.
Beer or something.
Yeah, something. God, listeners, don't write in. hatePodMail@gmail.com.
Yes. Anyway, but again, this is this kind of sounds like that, like a country version of a ska song to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got no problem with that. Yeah, it's Real Big Mumford and Sons Fish.
Yes, and I cannot wait to hear your reasoning for why this is about time traveling reverse vampires in a simultaneous war with future robots and medieval Catholics. Sorry,
if notes are about? Mine are less good, I think. 20 thrown down in my fist of rage, and the man to my left has folded down. Well, Johnny doubled up with a royal flush. I had 3 jacks and a pair of 9s.
Yep, let me stop there. Let me stop you right there. No idea what he's talking about.
Cards. They're playing cards.
Oh, okay. No idea.
Really?
No idea.
It's a crazy game of poker. The title.
Thought it was a metaphor. Continue.
Those of you who have found the feed, and if you have, no need to write in. We know. But you will see me aggressively squinting my eyes at Tim in skepticism. You're welcome. For those of you who haven't found the feed, I apologize. Please do find the feed. So, song continues. Well, then dude walks in, black hat on top, with a mop. I'm lucky wasn't a country cop, because I'm just running out of time. Who's up for game 2? What to do? My wallet's getting thin, and I just lost my watch last night. So, things are not going great at the game. This gentleman and his buddy Johnny, both down in the count, so to speak, and they probably about to wrap things up when in walks a man with a black hat on top. What a mop. But he's not a country cop, which is good because one of them has warrants. Accurate?
Yep.
So then the song continues. So he offers them a game or two for a second game, but this gentleman and Johnny are worried because their wallet's getting thin and they just lost a watch. But let's see what happens. Song continues. Well, I got a problem. Just one answer. Gotta throw it all down and kiss it goodbye. Yeah. Seems like he decided to play anyway. He's a degenerate gambler.
That's the weird thing because, again, they are 17 when they wrote this, but apparently they already have owning Mahoney type problems.
God, that's a fun movie. So, song continues. That was a crazy game of poker. It's pretty subdued the first time, but it gets a little out of hand. Song continues. I lost it all, but someday I'll be back again and I never to fold. So, this is where things get a little interesting. He lost it all. Crazy game. He's regaling us with the details, and I think this is, for me at least, where things start to come into focus. Song continues. Well, there's a man sitting next to me, red with smiling eyes. It's funny. I don't have no money tonight, yeah. So I think this gentleman with the smiling eyes, who's apparently red, is coming to collect. And unfortunately, the main character, does he have a name? Serge? What's his name?
Mark Roberge.
Roberge. Mr. Roberge doesn't have any money, and so presumably this red smiling-eyed gentleman is coming to collect something. I think it's Satan coming to collect his soul.
I also thought it was Satan because he's red.
Okay, sure. Who else is red? What's that guy? Satan's son? Hellboy. Hellboy's red.
Spoilers.
That's it. Nope. Nope. I don't even know what you mean by that. Anyway.
Okay, but then it delves further into the reggae.
Everything slows down to a pure reggae beat before the fourth verse, and then we get some scatting.
Right. It sounds now like shitty Sublime.
Yeah. It turns fully into the and I walked into the bar yesterday because I had nothing to do and something to say. I'm not joking. That's the song, folks. But let's get into it. When the song continues after the sweet scat sesh and we're in full reggae mode, I think we jump a little bit ahead in time, and the song says, and I walked into the bar yesterday because I had something to do, something to say. And Johnny walked in right behind me, and I didn't turn around till I heard the sound of his feet falling on the ground. I looked over my shoulder and I saw a clown. And I said, what you doing in the bar tonight? I'm curious, Tim, what's your read on this situation? Just typical degenerate gambling?
I assume so. Do you think it's an actual clown?
No, I don't. Here's why. I think what is not alluded to is in the earlier verse, we learned that red, smiling-eyed gentleman had come to collect. So I think our main character was brought down to hell, and he's at a bar in hell, because why not, right? Maybe in hell, you're the dealer. That's your hell. You have to be the dealer at a bar in hell. Somebody's got to deal cards, Tim. And he's walking into the bar because he's got something to do that day, and in walks Johnny behind him, and he's calling him a clown because Johnny must have continued to gamble even after he got whisked off to Satanville, and now that dumbass is in the bar, and he's working at the table next to him because Satan got his soul too, because they're both just degenerate gamblers.
This makes a lot of sense because if I know anything about hell, and I think I know quite a few things, all the music is just somebody skeetily dattin'. Bee-bop-a-dop-a-dop-a-doo-bop-a-da-bop.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next song is called I Don't Fucking Know. Scoo-da-dee-beep-bop-a-doo. Folks, remember, this is day 6,274 in hell. Do-da-dee-bop-bop-bop-bop. Scoo. No lessons. Can you believe it? Yeah. No, that sounds like hell, Tim. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It is nonstop bebopping or scatting.
Right. And then, Garrett, we get the song's second chorus, the part that will become the chorus for the rest of the song for some reason.
Is this the I Say Oh? Or I Said Johnny,
yes.
What You Doing Tonight?
Yeah, the I Say Johnny.
This is when we get to the full raggeds shouting. So I said, Johnny, what you doing tonight? And he looked at me with a face full of fright. This isn't that far off, folks. And I am not trying to sound good, just to be clear.
And I said, how about a revolution? And he said, right. I say, oh, you say, ah. I say revolution, and you say, ja. I say, oh, you say, ah. I say revolution, and you say, ja, ja, ja. Day, day, oh. So we have some more ja talk, but this drives me crazy. This I said, and then he said, and then I said, and then he. It is the worst goddamn songwriting.
I say revolution, and you say ja, 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 ja.
Tim, it's pretty catchy. It's bad, gang. But I think what you read there, the Johnny, what you doing tonight, they're going to tango and cash their way out of hell. These are old pals. You link these souls up, they're going to just, they're breaking out of hell.
Now, you say tango and cash, but I feel like this is much more of a drive angry situation where one of these boys is the car and one of these boys is Nicolas Cage.
Wait, you think one? Well, no, what? One of them can't be a car. One of them, tango and cash, they're both men. Friend. One of them's a metaphorical car.
Yeah,
if so, yes, Johnny's the car.
Okay.
But can we just use Tango and Cash where they break out of prison?
No,
what about Bill and Ted 2 where they literally break out of hell? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, okay. Does that happen in Tango and Cash 2?
They broke out of prison. How have you not seen Tango and Cash?
You said Tango and Cash 2.
No, as well. T-O-O.
Oh. You can understand why I'm confused.
Unfortunately, yes.
And then for God's sakes, there's a verse 5, Garrett.
Oh, God. I said I'm wandering around the road 4 to 4. I don't know what that means. And I said I've been walking for about 1,000 years. And my feet are growing tired, my eyes a little wired. Don't know what to do unless I retire. And he said, let's just play some crazy poker. I think, Tim, it takes 1,000 years to walk from hell to heaven. Once you escape hell, most people are like, oh, yeah, and then you're back at Earth. This is not a children's fairy tale. Hell is not in Earth. Sure, Sure, you may access it through a portal in the ground, but you are in a different dimension entirely. So if you want to walk from hell to heaven, 1,000 years feels about right to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, song wraps up. Came to the bar to see what's the same. I saw my man named Johnny sitting across the table from me, and to my left was a man. He had no gin. Didn't really think about starting to sin. The man to my right wasn't feeling kind of nice. He looked kind of mad, and I felt kind of bad because I took his money last night. It's kind of funny. Tim, I think they made it to heaven. This is a game of poker in heaven. That's why you got people that are not drinking. You have people that are not about to sin, and he feels bad because he took St. Peter's money in a game last night. Or maybe a dinosaur. Are dinosaurs in heaven? Ooh, are dinosaurs in heaven?
Well, sure, Garrett. They lived blameless lives, sinless.
Yeah, but they weren't baptized, so are they all struggling and...
Yeah, but Garrett, have you ever seen Jurassic Park? They very rarely ever showed the feet in those things, but they were almost always wearing Italian loafers.
Oh! I thought you were going to tell me the Asian guy, God, what's his name? Fuck, I wish I could remember his name right now. Baptized all of them quietly on his own.
No, that would be ridiculous. I don't know if we mentioned this, but this is an 8.5-minute song. Did not need to be 8.5 minutes.
Oh, God, no.
It is on every single live album that they have ever recorded. One of the albums, it's on twice because they have an acoustic and an electric, I guess, version of it. One of them specifies that it's acoustic. Here's the song lengths. 12:51, 17:57, 17:20, 9:08, that's the acoustic one, 15:02, so that's on the same album, so let's just call that an even 24:10, and finally 13.5 minutes of this stupid song.
Jesus Christ. That's terrible. Oh, well, luckily we got the 8-minute version.
We did get the shortest possible version.
Track number 3, Black Rock.
On the Black Rock is where I spend my time writing a memory.
This song's 4.5 minutes, but it only has 17, I think, unique lines, so too long.
Yeah, this shouldn't take long. Yeah, we're back to the very plinky, warm-sounding guitar. That's fine. It's, borderline ukulele if you don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
On this song, Tim, do you know the song often sung by Shirley Temple on the good ship Lollipop?
Yes, I do.
The opening to this is weirdly similar.
Kinda, yeah.
Anyway,
Weird.
On the Black Rock. Anyway, I had to really work hard this week to figure out what the fuck this might be about. Do you have any? Oh, I guess we could get into it first.
Oh, I just looked up what it's about.
Oh, that's a thing? Where did you find that?
I can tell you what it's about if you'd like.
That's fascinating. Well, how about I tell you first?
Oh,
Because I
absolutely.
did not look it up.
Cool.
Okay, so the song goes, on the Black Rock is where I spend my time, writing a memory or writing a rhyme. Think about what is right or wrong. On the Black Rock is where I like to go. After a long night coming home from our show, that's where I write my song all day long. The Black Rock. 2 theories. 1, this is a man that lives inside a volcano. Probably not that. 2, I think this might be a metaphor for burning a fresh nug in a sweet bowl.
Okay, pretty close.
Does live in a volcano.
Garrett, the band would sometimes hang out in the woods along Black Rock Road in high school.
Oh. Let's ignore their thing and go with what I'm going to describe this song to be about.
Cool, Bond villain, go ahead.
Right. And what we should mention is after the first verse, we have settled back into another reggae beat.
Oh yeah.
So the song continues. Sometimes I just look around, taking the feeling coming from out of the ground. That's just something I do sometimes. Those are the lyrics to this song.
They never miss an opportunity to use too many words to say a thing.
Yes. It's like they couldn't decide on which word to use, so they just picked them all.
Yes.
So the song continues. When you are on your own, not speaking out is like fighting alone. And that is the worst damn way to fight. I think they're saying if you don't write songs when you're alone, you're going to get sad. Like if you were to fight alone.
Yes, if you're living in your volcano all cut off from the world, you
need to keep a journal.
Right.
It's a real chicken or the egg thing, and I think we've just solved it, Tim. A lot of people go, did you buy the hollowed out volcano and then become a supervillain? Or were you a supervillain looking for a sweet lair? And in this case, Tim, I think probably a great lesson learned. If you're going to live in a hollowed out volcano, keep a journal. Record those thoughts. Don't go to dark places.
Or record those thoughts so we can answer the question. Figure out at what point you became evil.
Boy, Tim, I'm going to give you half a point for that one because I really thought you were going to say, or don't and be evil. Congratulations on not speaking out on the behalf of evil for once.
Yeah, again, I'm not in favor of evility. I simply recognize its need to exist and support it financially.
Right.
But most of that's by being tricked.
Sure. No, you are one of the most naive human beings I've ever met. Also, coincidentally, one of the most suspicious.
Thank you.
No, You know what? I'm not even going to clarify. Let's just take it how you think I meant it, and I'll agree.
At many shows, Mark Roberge alters the lyrics to sing, "We all have our black rock. It's in our minds." And I would just like to say, fuck you, Mark. No, we don't.
Maybe you. Okay, let's see. Last verse. And when you are scared no more, you reach your hand out and just open the door. And that's just what I'm doing tonight. So it could just be a whole song about an agoraphobic man that lives inside a giant volcano, building up the courage through aggressive journaling and talk therapy to finally take that step outside and enjoy the beach.
Maybe it's about a villain who lives in a volcano and is too timid to actually go out and commit acts of evil. And this is him working through it with his therapist, really just building up the courage to go out there and, like, I don't know, melt somebody with lava.
Allow me to add a layer of complexity to that. Love it, Tim. But let's go with this. What if, perhaps, in a Despicable Me-like situation, he's in the middle of a labor dispute, all of his henchmen, whom he's relied on for years, have up and quit, or they're maybe, holding a picket line, tough to say. Seems like a bad idea to picket outside of an evil genius or madman's home, but whatever.
Especially if he has access to lava.
Sure. If you can control that lava, I don't want to get off on a weird tangent here, Tim, but one of the greatest uses of YouTube was for me to learn just what lava does to things. If you've never just Googled what does lava do to things, give it a Google. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
What you don't realize is that a lot of stuff is going to burst into flames long before the lava gets there.
Yeah.
It's real hot.
I don't guess this is probably a weird time to say this, but you have kind of spoiled the occasion looking this up. You have a birthday coming up, and I was going to take you to a volcano, and we're going to throw stuff in it to see what happens.
I don't see how I ruined that at all.
Well, you already know what's going to happen.
Well, I kind of knew what was going to happen, but
it's about the
trust
science,
me, Tim.
not the joy of it.
Can it be both?
I was going to throw Lance in.
A what?
Lance, our
Wait,
second youngest intern.
Why?
For science, Garrett.
Burst out. Well, you know what? Don't listen. I don't know how far you are in the planning. If you've already sent the invites out, don't change a thing.
Okay, well, throw a man into lava.
Let's not keep admitting to throwing people into volcanoes.
Again, we haven't done it yet. There's no crime here.
That's not how crime works. Again, saying you're going to do the thing is sometimes just as illegal as doing it.
Not as.
Sometimes.
Track number 4, Conquering Fools.
Not a reggae jam, but also a little Billy Joelish, in my opinion, because we're getting real ragged and just really letting it rip.
Sure.
This is it on the voyage of the conquering fools.
I think this is where I realized that all these songs are about nothing. They all feel like the song version of a bottle episode. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're completely self-contained and irrelevant.
Yes. So I set out on the voyage of the conquering fools looking for the gold and the modern day jewels. It come to pass what was stuck in my head. If I didn't quit on looking, that I'd probably be dead. So he's looking for riches, and it's bad for him.
Yes,
I guess
and he's come to the realization he should stop.
Yeah, the pursuit of looking for riches or whatever is bad for him, which is, I guess, fair.
Well, we haven't identified what those riches are, Tim.
I assume it's musical success.
Oh, well, allow me to prove you wrong. I hit the road and I rolled up north, looking for the origin, the place of my birth. So some sort of Wolverine character, possibly a street urchin, grew up not knowing where he's from.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Looking for that place in Canada where metal was injected into him.
Exactly. Real Weapon X situation. I didn't notice when I ran a red sign hoping that everything would really be fine. Well, people come and people go, but they never know what is going on, so they gotta try to be what they want to be. What the hell's happening to me? Tim, I think this guy might have killed somebody going through a four-way stop and just kept driving.
Sure. And that happens from time to time.
Sure, not to me or you, but does it happen in the world? world? Yes.
Right. Definitely not to us.
Right.
Ran through a red sign, hoping everything would be fine, but people come and people go. Yeah. I definitely think he killed someone.
Yeah. And whether he did or he didn't, doesn't really matter. What we do know is he struck someone and he did not stop.
Or at least at the very least, he ran a stop sign. And as you pointed out, sometimes running a stop sign is just as illegal as hitting someone with your car and driving away.
Not what I said at all. Great. It's not like you aren't listening. It's like you're listening wrong. And that is fascinating. You're like Dudley from the Royal Tenenbaums. That cab has a dent in it. Song continues. For some reason, he is compelled to return to his birthplace. We are back to a reggae jam after the first minute. And the song says, well, I set out about an hour ago looking for my gold, and I'm saying Ayo, and I went down looking for the big brass show. So I went. You're going to understand why I'm having a hard time here in just a moment. So I went, and then I started to go, walking down that same old road, thinking to myself, it's quite a struggle. What am I going to do tomorrow? I'm going to find my gold and conquer me some fools. Yeah, I think gold is cocaine. He's going to go score some coke and maybe fight some guys or cut it and sell half.
Now, here's the problem with that theory, Garrett. Listen to this music. These are not coke guys.
I don't know. I mean, they're kind of scumbaggy.
They are scumbag, but not in a coke kind of way. This is not a productive band. This is a band that they recorded some stuff and maybe it'll come out someday.
Oh, I think, Tim, you are confusing the cocaine user with the cocaine dealer. Cocaine dealer? I mean, is he using his cocaine supply? Of course. But cocaine dealer, not nearly as classy as cocaine customer. We all know that.
That's true, yeah.
Cocaine dealers, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. With whatever you want to write in about.
Yeah. We'll also give you our actual address. It's a P.O. box. You can send us cookies or whatever.
Just letters about stuff. Anyway.
Or also cocaine users write in. Do you consider yourself better than your dealer?
Ooh, that's a great one, Tim. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Let us know. I suspect a good portion of our audience does habitually use drugs. Tough to say how many are cocaine users, but listeners, write in. Do you consider yourselves better than your dealer? Are you your dealer? Or do you consider yourself lower than your dealer?
Yeah, and please also write in with what drug you are currently using.
Thank you, Tim. I realized my mistake immediately. Got there just after you. Please write in name, address, drug of choice, and are you better than your dealer, worse, or the same? Or are you your dealer? A lot of personal information. Social security number too, I guess, probably, right? Yeah,
no,
just to be safe.
Not a social security number, but like some way that we can definitely identify you.
Song continues. So I went, and then I started to go, walking down the same old
You already
road.
did this.
He speaks like Rick Sanchez. So I went, and then I started to go.
He does.
Walking down the same old road. Come here, Morty. A long time ago, I found myself looking for fools. And what I did not let myself know is that these fools were inside my mind. So I think his addiction is the fool.
Yeah, his own personal demons.
Yeah, he's trying to conquer that. And then the rest of the song kind of actually does turn into a PSA about drug abuse.
It does, but my version didn't, because my version just petered out.
What?
Yeah, it didn't. There's like this long verse at the end that just doesn't exist in the song I listened to.
How did you get a better version? A shorter version?
I don't know that it's shorter. In fact, I think it might have been longer, but it just did not include that verse.
All right. Well, I had the album version that has this last verse that says, when no substance can control you and you done conquered that fool. And when that alcohol cannot own you, you done conquered that fool. And when no one person runs you, you must conquer that fool. And when you're learning in books everything you need to know, well, you can conquer them fools. Like,
and
what?
This is interesting advice, because he's not saying you need to stop using it. He's saying you need to conquer it, right? You need to use it so much that those drugs, that alcohol, that they recognize that you are the boss of them, not the other way around. Indulge until they submit.
Or at worst, if you're short on time, take a perfect cocktail so that you can't feel the physical effects of any one drug.
True. Track number 5, Get Away. We need to remember that this is sung by people that are 17, maybe 18. Is it just me?
Good reminder.
Or does it seem that life just carries on? Was it him who said that life is just a song? I don't know what will keep me on this little earth. I just might use the love that's all in the dirt.
I'll tell you what I think that
to
means.
These boys?
Okay. So you read it how I did. I think this guy is threatening suicide for attention so that he can get the true love, or can possibly he might be confusing love and mourning.
Oh yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah, you did. So literally, I just don't know what's going to keep me on this little earth. I might just have to use the love that's all in the dirt. You know, the love that people finally give you when you're dead.
Interesting.
These are negative thoughts.
Maybe he's going to fake his death and then show up at his own funeral and be like, ha, love me now?
I knew you loved me.
Gotta love a good love it.
You look angry. You all look very angry. Sorry.
But he's not.
I thought you were going to say some sort of insurance fraud or maybe a Huck Finn situation. Didn't one of them kill themselves and then watch the funeral in the rafters?
I don't think he killed himself. I think the watching his funeral happened.
Yeah, they didn't kill themselves. Sorry, faked it. Listeners, write in. Literary listeners, write in. hatePodMail@gmail.com. Was it Tom or Huck?
Are you Samuel Clemens? Write in and let us know what you meant by that.
Also, write in. Is Samuel Clemens' middle name Langhorn? I'm pretty sure it is, and I don't know why I know that.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, song continues, but every damn time that I see you, I say to myself, she ain't worth it. Oh, no. She ain't worth nothing I got. Ah, no way. None. Get away to get in. Now, I have a very specific take on this, but before I reveal that, I'm curious, Tim, what's your read here?
I just took it at face value.
Fair enough. He's seeing a woman that presumably he used to date or wanted to date or tried to date, and she's just not worth it, right? For whatever reason.
She's not worth the hassle it would take to make her his.
Perfect way to put it, because the way that I hear the song after, I don't know, hearing it 31 times, this sounds a lot like not necessarily an ex, but more of a stripper who he's been giving money to in hopes that she would become a girlfriend, and he calls a relationship.
Oh, yeah, that will happen.
Oh, that's literally the goal for every one of them. And it should be. Absolutely should be. Milk those idiots. Not literally. Figure. I mean, do that too if you want. Live your truth. I'm just saying, I'm not being crude. If somebody's dumb enough to continually give you money in the hopes that one day you will go from being a paid person who rubs their body on somebody for money to their actual girlfriend. Oh, you know what, Tim? Now that I say that, I know at least 3 people that did date strippers. That ended tragically in all 3 cases.
In all honesty, I mean, now that you say it that way, she's got to be someone's girlfriend, right?
Sure.
Why not yours?
How many people? I guess, but I feel like of all the work environments, stripper is the hardest one to convert from a professional relationship to a personal.
Well, okay. How about this? You see one you like, you don't immediately go and get that dance. Maybe you wait outside. Maybe you follow her. You find out what she's into. Maybe find out kind of, what post office she uses, for example. And then you meet her there, not at the club. So you're not one of those creeps that's at the club. You're just a normal person from a regular life. And you say, I don't care about what you do for a living. Well, look at me. I'm a dentist. And, that's not that exciting. And you slowly make inroads, Garrett. You slowly just, you kind of just keep meeting her at various places. You just keep showing up. You just keep being there for her until she is yours. You don't even have to worry. You just pretend you never were at the club that night. You saw her, though.
Okay, so here's the problem.
You know where her tattoos are. But here's the thing. That's actually.
Oh my God, they're still talking.
That's actually the easiest way to get caught is when you're not surprised by the tattoos, because that's when they know that you in fact didn't stop by their work and hide in the shadows, or possibly the coat room with a little tiny telescope that you got in a fucking cereal box.
You made it out of a Cracker Jack box. Okay, so here's the problem, Tim, and it's not what you think. Well, it's also what you think, but here's the problem. What you said is not entirely wrong. Taking it out of a strippy situation is the right move. You definitely want to make her feel much more like, hey, I'm not hitting on you because I just saw your asshole. I'm hitting on you because I think we have a real connection.
Right. Right. You want to make her think that.
Okay, well, listeners, do in fact write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. And yes, yes, I've gotten the emails. Some of your viewers were really thrilled about it. But what's the move here? Is it better to lie if you, boy, this is a weird one. So you go to a strip club, you get, let's say you get a lap dance from, and let's even make it really innocent. You're there for a bachelor party. So you've never been there. You never plan to go back, but you do see a stripper there that you're like, wow, she's really pretty. We had a conversation at the bar.
Let's pause real quick.
And that was it.
Is it your bachelor party?
No.
Okay.
No. Now that why would you make it so complicated? That makes it so much more difficult. That's a whole different hypothetical. That's a fidelity question. Anyway, God damn you. God damn it. I lost my train of thought, you fuck. So you say you learn her name, and let's even say you live nearby. You happen to find that out, which coincidentally.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Do you learn her real name, or do you think her name is like Sparkles or Skittles or whatever?
Starfire?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be tricky. Let's say you only know her stripping name.
Okay.
Ooh, let's make it something fun, like Hungry Hungry Hippo. Or
I know what that show is. Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. You've been waiting for all night. Hungry Hungry Hippo. Let's get out those balls. Feed the hippo. Okay, I gotta stop.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, back to the question at hand. Do you ever tell her, hey, I'm actually the guy that you met a week ago at the strip club. I didn't get a lap dance or anything. I made the Seinfeld joke. We'll make it real simple. I made the Seinfeld joke. You laughed. I'd like to go out with you. Do you do that? Or do you wait till you run into each other at the ATM or at the coffee shop, and do you never tell her? And you're just like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Don't make a big deal out of it. What's the move, Tim?
Never tell her. In fact, it's probably wise anytime you go into a strip club to wear some sort of elaborate disguise just for this very situation.
No. You know what? Sound advice. Okay, back to the task at hand. The song continues. Was it you who said my life is over? Baby, it was over from the bitter start. And I want to pause because I think the purpose of that verse is to say, joke's on you, I've been a loser since birth.
Yeah?
Which is an odd burn. Did you say that I won't be around downtown tomorrow? Yes, I will, with a hardened heart. So apparently there's another strip club maybe, meeting somebody new, paying them to become his girlfriend. He's getting back out there. He's thinking he's going to make her jealous by paying other women who are not dating him.
That's fair. Yeah. When it continues, it says, she can have anything she wants. She really doesn't know about the way she taunts. It's tearing me apart. It's tearing me apart. And then they go back to this. And then I said, and then she said, and then she did this, and then she did this. He sings, I was walking yesterday at night in the park, and I saw a little girl standing on the corner of the world. Gets a little creepy. I'm assuming he means, a woman. We'll just pretend he means woman. And I said, little girl, what you doing in the world? She looked up at me, and I said, for what it's worth. And I said, the wind's been blowing hard for, about 1,000 years at a time, but it's time to stop the hate. I said, get up. I said, get away to get up, blah, blah, blah. Did you mean something mean when you said my soul was clean? Well, I know all the stories I've been told. The subject matter's a little creepy. The songwriting is terrible. The music is reggae. The guys are white and from fucking Maryland by way of Ohio State. None of this is good.
Yeah, I mean, you walked through a lot there, Tim. I'm going to touch on the high notes. I think he may or may not believe that women can only be purchased. I think he's cruising through the park and talking to prostitutes, asking them to date him.
Yes, and he's referring to them as little girl for some reason.
Yep, as I assume most Johns do.
Right, but prostitutes hate it.
Sure. Well, Tim, newsflash. I don't think they like most of what they're doing.
Right. Fair. Some of them love it, though.
What else was in here? Oh, did you... here we go. Did you mean something mean when you said my soul was clean? This is obviously the stripper saying, like, you don't want any part of me. I've got a tough, I've got a difficult life. You're a sweet man. You are super naive. And then she says, and then his retort is, well, I've heard all the stories. I know I've been told, but it's nothing but a product. Like, people are just exaggerating. The classic troubled stripper. It's fine. I'm here to help. And she's like, you don't get it. I have like sort of a, sometimes boyfriend, all the time cocaine dealer. And he doesn't really like it when I speak to other guys. And so song continues. I was walking last night. I was thinking kind of funky. I was ready to fight. Feeling kind kind of frisky, drank a pint of whiskey. I think, Tim, that he is trying to convince this woman to let him into her world, and she's trying desperately to keep him from dying. And he gets angry, gets drunk, and he's going to go fight this boyfriend for her love.
Almost word for word what I have in my notes.
I can only imagine. Let's see. The song ends in literal nonsense. I'm going to read it, Tim. Never once on the show do I ever read something without an intended comment, joke, reason for saying it. My reason this time is that I don't know what to do with lyrics like this. It goes, and I said, hey girl, gotta run away. Gotta ask something. Something gotta say. And I said, hey, something don't you know nothing? Don't you see the world that is coming to unfurl?
I believe what's happening here is he is
Don't you dare put
mixing
meaning to this nonsense.
He's mixing scatting with actual words. So everything is delivered in the cadence and the order that scatting would be. It just, instead of nonsense syllables, they're words.
So he's word scatting. So
Yes.
it's free-form words
Yes.
delivered in a creative and nonsensical pattern meant to be aurally pleasing.
Meant to be.
Sure, let's keep going. Track number 6, About an Hour Ago.
About an hour ago when he was looking for a ride to New Mexico.
This feels like Texas country music mixed with a little James Buffet.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I've got quite a sounds like for you here, and I'm going to guess you don't have it. If you do, we have officially been doing this show too long. Do you have an odd sounds like for this song?
I do not.
Okay, I'm going to do my best here, Timmy. My voice is ragged today, but see if this sounds a little familiar. These are the words to O.A.R's About an Hour Ago. Here we go. There was a man on the road about an hour ago, and he was looking for a ride to New Mexico. We were driving by too fast to know.
God, it's Four Non
And
Blondes.
it actually gets even closer to in the second one. She says, well, we got to the place on a high-speed chase. There was a girlie in the corner with a plastic face, and then she disappeared without a trace.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's really weird. Once I heard it, I couldn't not hear it.
It's interesting, though, because it's as if Jerry Jeff Walker is doing a cover of that song with these lyrics, with the, so I'm moving on up to a couple margaritas and we started making faces at a couple senoritas. Like, it's got
Boy,
this
this
like
is really
bro-y, I own a restaurant and I'm trying to lure you to that restaurant with this song kind of feel to it.
Ooh, allow me to make a small change there. It's more of a, my dad owns a restaurant, okay?
Fair.
Like,
yes.
I get a real sense of, like, I've never had a responsibility in my life with this song.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually maybe my favorite. It's a little faster paced. It's not a reggae beat. It definitely sounds like Four Non Blondes. And well, we'll get there. I don't know what to call it, but I don't want to spoil it.
The
There's
outro,
a reason this isn't.
the chorus outro thing.
Yeah, okay, we'll get there. Okay, so the song goes, there was a man on the road about an hour ago, and he was looking for a ride to New Mexico. Well, we were driving by way too fast to know.
Right there, whole thing pointless.
Sure, they're on a road trip. Well, then we got to the place on a high-speed chase. There was a girlie in the corner with a plastic face, and then she disappeared without a trace. I can't not read it like Four Non Blondes, I'm sorry. So then they get to maybe some sort of haunted bar after speeding. What's the plastic-faced girl?
Oh, I have no idea. I think that just
Maybe
means
she was
too
just
much makeup.
super drunk. Oh, too much makeup.
So possibly hooker.
Oh, and then she disappeared to go service a gentleman in the restroom.
Or possibly, well, because he specifies, and then she disappeared without a trace. I say without a trace. I assume they picked her up and possibly, disappeared her. Dumpster.
Right.
Murder.
Sure. No, perfectly clear. Please stop talking. Well, now we're kicking back, sipping beers. There's a man telling stories about his inner fears. And I gotta say, this is a weird vibe. You got a plastic-faced girl that just suddenly disappeared. We're having a couple of beers, and there's a man in the corner telling us about his greatest fears, possibly recanting the tale of he and his young friends in the town of Derry and how they once defeated a giant clown.
Absolutely. Here's the thing, though. If you take away the Stephen King of it all, this is kind of what our weekends are like. We sit down, I have a few beers, and I start telling you my insecurities. You hate it.
Yeah, no, it's one of my least favorite things about a weekend. That and how long it lasts. Song continues. So I'm moving on up to a couple of margaritas. I made a couple of faces at a couple senoritas, playing drinking games. They were all too drunk to beat us. So they're hanging out, drinking some beers, having a good time with a couple of senoritas. Makes you, I don't know. I mean, what's the song about so far? They went to a bar.
Yeah, it's about driving to a bar, but also they still have the stench of murder on them.
Yeah. I mean,
here's
it's
the
a
thing.
weird bar.
I suspect they never actually make it to the bar because this bar all seems like some sort of ghost ship, some sort of purgatory-like situation with the man just telling him about his inner fears and the.
Oh yeah,
Because
I like this. Yeah, so it's more of a sort of a mirage. It's there. They went to the bar, but once they leave and they tell all their friends, they're like, "There's no bar there."
Well, yeah, but because he goes, so now my car broke down about an hour ago. We were heading on down to New Mexico. Well, we did not see the gas was low. The gas was low. Yes, so low.
Dude, okay, this
don't
is
make
my
it to this
favorite part
bar.
of the album. Oh, I thought they'd left the bar.
Maybe.
Anyway, let's not focus on that. What I want to focus on is the gas was low. I call it a gas breakdown. For at least 10 times in a row, we get the gas was low, the gas was low, and it all ends with, hey, that gas was low.
And he about an hour ago, the gas
was low.
Garrett, the gas was low.
Yeah, so Tim, this makes tons of sense because when they get back to the party, they went to the bar, they went to the haunted bar with the guy telling you about his hopes and fears, the woman who they killed or disappeared, sorry. They're on their way back to the party and it's a real, I thought you got gas, bro, situation, and they break down. So they walk back to the party, start hitting on girls immediately, despite the fact that they smell like sweat and road and probably gas. I don't know if you've ever had to get gas. For some reason, if you have to get gas somewhere in between the plastic gas tank and getting the gas into the car, you're getting gas on you.
Yeah, you're going to get it on your hands and then it's going to get in your eyes.
Fun side note. I've personally never run out of gas. However,
I was hoping you were going to
those...
say I've never pumped my own gas. You fancy fuck.
Actually, now you made me think of a completely different story that I think is much funnier. When I was very young, 8 maybe, I was with my friend and he was pumping gas for his mom. So mom's in the car, he's pumping the gas, and I'm just standing next to him bullshitting. He's staring off into space, and we might have bbeen 7. I reach over and I put the lever down on the gas pump, which stops the gas. But I did it at like, I don't know, $2 in. So it was, 1990. So that was 40 gallons. But still, I stopped it at about $2. And he looks over at me and he's like, did you do something? I was like, nope, didn't do a thing. And he's like, that's weird. It stopped. And I was like, must be full. And he's like, okay. And so he just puts it back, not realizing what I had done by putting the thing down. I think he even might have asked me, Tibby, he was like, was this up or down? I was like, down the whole time. Definitely didn't do anything. I'll be in the car. Long story short, later that day or that next day, that mom ran out of gasoline because she did not look at the gas gauge because she was convinced she'd have a full tank. But it was me.
And you would like to apologize to her at this time? No? All right. What if she's a listener?
She later kissed me once.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, when I was 17. Uncomfortable.
Interesting. So you weren't. Okay.
Her name was...
Oh, what was her last name?
I should probably not have said that. I'm definitely not going to say that.
All right. Track number 7, Toy Store. This was the other song I knew really well.
Well, come on.
Yeah. This was so familiar.
What? This is one of my least favorite songs of 2021.
Completely agree. It's one of my least favorite songs of apparently like 2003 too, but I know it real well. This is a band.
Yeah.
This was probably on a bad mix CD, and I got trapped in the car with him.
Oh, God. You guys used to spend a lot of time together.
Ugh. Do not care for
I'm probably going to have to bleep that. Could have called
Oh, well, I have to bleep that. God damn it. Is this a metaphor for life, Garrett, or is this literally about being in a toy store?
Oh, it's about literally being in a toy store.
Okay. That's good, because that's way less sinister.
Oh, no, it's horrible. Oh. It's the most sinister song on the album.
Oh, carry on.
Hoping to find something better, at least better than what you thought. So many aisles to venture down. So many choices, you thought. So, it's a kid wandering down the aisles, trying to pick a toy, right?
I see see why you would think this is sinister. I assume you had some very bad childhood experiences in toy stores.
Nope, not
a
a
lot
one.
of disappointment.
No, we just never went in them.
Oh,
I thought they were a myth.
like me and
You mean a whole
laundromats.
store of just toys? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, no. So this kid's looking for toys. Next verse. Then a man come walking down the aisle with a smile as white as rain. But mom, she got to go away again, and I'm running with the pain.
So is the mom trading sex for toys?
Ooh, great thought, and so close to what I thought, but better. Yours is better. What I thought is that mom is turning tricks in the parking lot of, say, a Target, and she just has this kid endlessly walking the aisles of the toy section because she's got to do something with him, but then she casually disappears, quick handy J in the parking lot. But it's a pretty good cover because she, at any moment, she's like, what are you talking about? I'm shopping with my son. We're going to pick a toy. Pick a toy, but all the while, it's all HJs and JJs and BJs and CDs and double Js and QPs and JJRs.
Listen, we all know all the acronyms.
I don't know if everybody knows them. I apologize. Song continues. You ask yourself why you can't just stay 5 more minutes alone and walk away. You know it. Mom knows it. So what you want? She says 1 toy today. She says, I
Didn't
think
make that
this
much money.
I think he's saying that he knows that he should maybe just stay for 5 minutes the next time mom goes walking away with a smile-faced Rain Man. And
don't follow them to that car. Don't look in the window.
Don't do that. No, don't do that. I was going to say, in fact, just go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
He just leave his mother in that Target parking lot and just strike out on his own because it's not going to get better. Song continues. But my mom, she coming around the bend and I'm buying another toy. And she said, son, just come along with me, but I'm running with the boys. Now, Tim, best I got, he has been in this Target so very long, he has started a gang with other boys that live at the Target.
Oh.
And they just run around buying toys, playing with them in the Target, and then returning the toys in the store. It's quite a racket.
Can I read from songmeanings.com, Pimp Tight on July 5th, 2002?
Oh, sure, why not?
What a jip! This song sounds so tight, and then you find out it's about buying toys? The chorus is so right on when you're trying to solve problems with folks who don't want to listen, except for the toy part. That guy didn't get the whole prostitution angle.
Well, that's weird. I mean, it's pretty clear. Guy with a smile as bright as rain, walking down a toy aisle. He doesn't want toys. What's a PJ or a DR?
Track
QX
number
17.
8. Track number 8.
Ooh, or a BB-8.
Track number 8 about Mr. Brown.
What's that to say when the rain won't go away?
Laid back reggae beat is in the house.
Yeah, and I feel like it doesn't need to be.
Well, it never needed to be, Tim, but it make you. What's the distinction here?
No, fair enough. I'm just tired of reggae, I think.
There it is.
This song goes from being very vague to very specific and alarming so quickly. He says,
go ahead.
what can you say about tomorrow? What do you know about my life? What do you say to your daughter? What do you tell your wife? La 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 la. Oh. Say, Mr. Brown, how about your daughter? Do you know what she's done with her life? And do you agree that we are lost here? Well, among the lost we shall survive. This feels like it's a rebuttal to like your conservative neighbor who's judging you. And it's got this like, oh, you don't like the way I keep my lawn? Well, I know about the boys, Mr. Brown. Also, your daughter's kind of a whore.
Interesting. I took it as like the most upbeat and laid back reggae version of Mr. Brownstone. So like, what do you know about my life? What do you say to your daughter? So I think this is about a guy who's addicted to heroin and the other person knows it. And then the daughter obviously became, I don't know, we'll call her Miss Brown. She's now addicted to the H. And then he says, say, Mr. Brown, how about your brother? Do you see what he's done with his life? And while you're chasing him out that front door, he's chasing you with a butcher knife. I think this guy is more of a cocaine injection sort of a fella, but he's still in the same family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would that be? Like, not Mr. Brown, Mr. White, I guess. Yeah. His brother-in-law, Mr. White, is chasing him out. Well, he's being chased out the front door for his chronic theft so he can funnel his cocaine habit. But at the same time, he's been injecting cocaine into his veins, so he's wily.
He sure is.
Let's see. Song continues. What's that you say when the rain won't go away? What's that you do when no one's looking at you? Where's that you go after the show? I mean, it's all sneaking away for that sweet, sweet H, right?
Sure. But it's all somebody that's saying this, hey, stop fucking asking me about my business. You're fucked up too,
That's
buddy.
true. Yeah, we missed the part where somebody started saying, you know what you ought to do with your goddamn loud wife? Oh, really? All right, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
Let's go through your little transgressions.
Yeah.
Actually, I really like yours more, though, Tim. Like, it's a really weird slight. Like, hey, Sanders, why don't you teach your son how to bunt? The fuck did you just say to me?
Yeah.
Hey, no, Brown, come here, you fuck. You're on opiates 24 hours a day. Your daughter's a whore. Your wife sneaks them away from you. And that brother-in-law, don't think I don't see him injecting cocaine on the back patio. My kid can't bunt. Get your house in order.
Rack number 9, Ladandi. Ladandi. Nailed it.
You can't say nailed it.
We have 2.5 minutes of intro before we get any actual lyrics. And again, I would argue this is technically the 9th song that qualifies as ska on this fucking record. And this song really feels like they wrote, one of two things. It's a Rastafarian proverb that, as we discussed earlier, kind of just peters out halfway through, so we never get to actually the point of it. We don't ever find out what the message of it is, or it's just a story about a cult leader.
Interesting. Okay, Tim, it's fascinating you went to cult leader because I'll tell you where I went. I think this is a song about Matthew 17.
Interesting.
From your Bible. Yeah. So he says, well, now Peter sat on the mountaintop, northern wind blowing through his hair. Now Peter never took the time to stop. He just stood out there and stared. I said, but Peter don't care about the air down there. He was looking right out at the sun. Well, the sun said, son, don't you come round here. And Peter began to run. Allow me to read from your Jesus book, Matthew 17. And after 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John, his brother, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. And Peter said to Jesus, Lord, is it good that we are here? If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Pretty much the song, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
You know, Tim, I think your nightly forced Bible readings have really started to rub off on me. I mean, I don't believe in any of that nonsense, but it is a fun book to read out loud.
It absolutely is. And I think that one of the best parts about the new Bible is that it doesn't have a cutout for to hold a handgun in it. It's just a book.
Give it time.
But then Peter, he comes down from the mountain and preaches that sun god message to the assembled masses, you see. Because after speaking with the sun, or Jesus, he comes down and he walking down the mountain, running out toward the west. It was slippery like the water from a fountain. We all, of course, know what that means. He slid down there to the town over there. People just started to cry. Peter was never shy. So he comes down and he doesn't care about what people think about him anymore because he has witnessed the sun god and he's going to tell people about it.
Yep. Really, if I understand it correctly, he just wants people to like him. Like, he just wants to sound cool.
I think he wanted it before. But I think because now he sang out loud to a unified crowd, singing something about how he thought he was, but the crowd didn't care about the air up there, and Peter wasn't nothing but nothing. So the crowd doesn't really care. Peter doesn't really care that they don't care because he knows he's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, and they're smiling back, and that's all he needs. Okay, so it's sort of more of a Mormon long game situation. So he's like, that's fine. They don't have to be into it today. As long as they invite me back tomorrow, I'll just keep trying.
And that's what I'm doing with you, friend.
Unclear what that means. Tim, how did this album do?
No idea. This did not chart. It probably did much better in Kazaa, Napster, etc. than it ever did in actual sales, but less than 500,000 copies. And again, they've sold about 2 million copies over 9 albums, so whatever. Who cares?
Perfect. What do people think of it?
Well, there are 52 total ratings, 4.6 out of 5 stars on average, 78% 5-star, 3% 1-star. The first, Garrett, is from Patrick Neergarth, who's titled his review, Love All O.A.R. Music, from October 8th, 2004. Remember that date.
Okay.
I actually listened to the CD for the first time a few weeks ago. What a difference between the music now and this CD. It's not a bad thing, but just the improvement is incredible. Just shows you how far you guys have come. I hope you guys continue to make kick-ass yet chill music. True O.A.R. fans should understand this. Keep up the great work. This may be a long shot. If one of the band members reads this, maybe they can shoot me an email. No, not shoot me, LOL. Jamie tango.com. Thanks, you guys kick ass. Now, that was a 4 out of 5 star review, first of all. They're not emailing you.
Wow.
So I did, of course, email him. I have not heard back yet, but I did make sure to click on his name to see, has he reviewed anything else? And he has a single other review, also from October 8th, 2004. This is from the O.A.R. CD, Anytime Now, and I would like to read this one as well.
God damn it.
Hi, finally, a kick-ass jam band that can rock out. I've been waiting such a long time for a band like O.A.R. to come around. Finally. DMB was getting so old. Went to one of Dave's concerts, and it almost put me to sleep. I am a 26-year-old male who's pretty buff. LOL. You guys need a bodyguard? Just kidding. I have been listening to O.A.R. for about a year now, and only expect them to get better. They will be the band of the future to watch out for. Mark my words on that. I don't speak highly of very many bands, but these guys have all the ingredients to make it big in the music world. They're upbeat, positive, and give off a great vibe. The thing I like most about O.A.R. is they get the crowd involved. That is awesome. Every time I pop in an O.A.R. CD, it puts Mai in a great mood. If I were a hot chick, which I am not, I would get with these guys. LOL. Anyway, every song has such a variety, and it's almost like...
This guy wants to fuck these guys.
Absolutely. But
obviously.
he's a buff
and that,
male, 26-year-old.
Sure, and that's fine. Like, that's cool. No judgment here. Just like, buddy, I can tell you confidently, I love bands. Like, I like them an abnormal amount that I buy all the albums they make, even when they're terrible. Never once have I ever thought, if I was a girl, I'd totally fuck that band. What?
Let me ask you this. Serious question here.
Sure. Okay.
Would you let Jack White have you?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Garrett?
I don't like him personally.
No,
He's got
absolutely
bad
not.
attitude.
Absolutely. He seems like a very unpleasant person, and he might still be Catholic, and I just cannot abide that. However, I think if he was here and he said he wanted to have you, you would let him. Anyway, every song has such a variety, and it is almost like a roller coaster ride and leaves you winded at the end of each song. It's really hard to explain it, but there is something very touching, and in almost every song, I can relate to almost every song. That is just me, though. City on Down is one of the best songs I've heard in years, no doubt about that. How can you not like that song? I wish you guys nothing but the best in the future. Was wondering about your 2005 tour schedule? 4 question marks. 5 out of 5 stars from Patrick Nygarth. Again, email jamienygarth6@msn.com.
Jesus Christ. Have me? He would have me?
Yeah, if he wanted. I'm not saying he's going to want to.
I don't think so. I mean, am I getting like a private concert out of this arrangement?
No, Garrett. You just, of all the joy he has given you, he asks but one thing, and that's to have you.
And is there a chance that's not even necessarily a sexual connotation?
It's whatever he wants, Garrett.
If he wants to just spoon for the evening, sure.
You have to, Garrett, you're going to need to sign up for whatever he wants, because he might change his mind halfway through. It might start out as spooning, and then it might turn into pool. You don't know.
I don't mind pool. I like pool.
He might want to make love to you.
See, that's so different.
It's very different. That's my point.
Right.
It could be,
and I need to be, it's an all or nothing arrangement.
Yeah. Think about how much joy he's given you.
Sure, but I don't think that entitles him to my body.
No, absolutely not. I'm just saying.
I paid for that enjoyment with money, not sex.
No, Garrett, I'm not saying. I'm not saying you owe him this. I'm saying I think that if he asked for it, you would freely give it.
Freely? God, you're making it much worse every time I ask.
It's not gonna get better.
I am... Listen, I am a people pleaser. That is, everybody knows that about me. But he's not in the room. I don't know. Can't say for sure. But my stance is, until it happens, I think I can confidently say my answer would be no.
Interesting. Beck has his phone number. We will find out.
God damn it.
Garrett, who is this for?
Ooh, drunk frat kids.
Yeah.
That brings us to final thoughts, Tim. We've been all the way through it. Any revelations on your end?
I found this to be profoundly disappointing. In my head, this was much better. At least the poker song was much better. And it makes me question a series of previous musical choices. And it makes me concerned that everything I like now, 20 years from now, I will listen to, and it will sound like O.A.R's The Wanderer.
No. I mean, in a lot of cases, yes. but mostly no. You got to take into context. I mean, this is my age-old problem. If you look at photos in 5-year increments starting from about 15 to your current age, every 5 years, you're pretty much repulsed with the image you see, which only guarantees that 5 years from today, you'll think everything you're saying, doing, and being is stupid, which means that you constantly are nothing but stupid or uncool.
Yes, I agree with that.
I guess we all just have to be okay with being perpetually uncool.
We all have to be okay with being a perpetual embarrassment to our future selves.
Yes, well put, Timmy. Well put. All right, that brings up the final question. We've been all the way through it. We've talked about it. We've given it far, far more credence than it probably deserves. So I'll ask it, Tim, do you hate this album?
Garrett, I think I do. I think I got there. This is wall-to-wall reggae, and when it's not reggae, it's ska, and when it's not reggae or ska, it's bad country music. If they had waited 3 years, they graduate college, they've whittled this down to the parts that are worth listening to, maybe kept the songs at 5 minutes max, I might not hate it then. But we're listening to the demos of high school children as if this is a legitimate musical album, and I kinda hate it. What about you, friend? Do you hate this?
Oh, that's quite a gut punch. All right, heart of hearts. How do I feel? Do I hate this album? O.A.R, I'm sorry, I do. I do. This is not peer pressure. Let that hate flag fly. Gino, fly the flag. Tim, I do. And O.A.R, you're probably listening. And I want to say, first of all, thanks for listening. Thanks for being good sports. And thank you for subscribing, as I'm sure you have. Enjoy those back episodes. We just heard your first album. You have several far more successful albums. We should go listen to those. Tragically, we will not.
Yes, I'm sure they're better, and I'm sure they're better musicians now.
Yes. So please, listeners of O.A.R. and new O.A.R. listeners, don't take the measure of this band from this episode or this album. We don't know. And we'll never know.
Or do. It doesn't matter.
Or do. Thanks for that, Tim. That pretty much undercuts everything I was going to say and brings us to the end of the show. If you can, and if you can't, seek help, because this isn't a lot to ask. Open the Apple Podcast app. If you don't have an iPhone, find someone who does, and then download the app and open it and leave a review for this show. 5 stars. Go to an Apple store. You can unlock those phones. You shouldn't do this. This is probably a bad thing. Don't do this. Do not go to an Apple store, download our podcast to every one of those devices, and then download every episode to those devices. Don't do that. Do not do that. There'd be so many.
But you could.
But you could. You could. Since you can't do that, though, just open your device or a good friend's or lovers. Open the podcast app. Give us the 5 stars. If you're busy, you're done. Thank you. That's all I'm asking for. If you've got some time, everybody's got some time. Tim, you're nothing but time. You're made of time. You're the man made of time. I'm going to start calling you Time. Tim Time. Coincidence? Doubt it. What a fun nickname. Time. Anyway, nicknames aside, if you've got some time, leave a review. If it's weirder, funnier, or insulting enough, we'll read it on the show. We don't care. The most important part is you got the 5 stars. Now get strange. We're constantly looking at them, culling them, collecting them. We got a year in review probably just around the corner, and that's always a great time to catch up on the strange reviews that have been piling up around the world headquarters. If you'd like, you can also reach out to us by emailing us. That's hatePodMail@gmail.com. You may have heard me talk about it. If you don't want to do that, you can go to hatepod.com, and there's a form that you can fill out, and that contacts us too. It does ask for an email address. It's just so we can reply. We don't do anything with it. We don't share anything, but we want to hear from you. If you're listening to the prepisodes, and if you aren't, what are you doing? But if you are, you've heard the strange and hilarious emails we get, so you know what we're looking for. Fun stories, ideas, suggestions, songs that you liked, music that we've done on the show that you've got strange stories about. We want to hear it all. Haven't gotten any art in a little while. Always interested in new song submissions. Would love to get some new options for the theme song at the front or end of the show. So if you are musically inclined, for the love of God, submit it. HatePodMail@gmail.com. What are you waiting for? Tim, what are they waiting for?
More episodes, maybe?
We've given them so many. This is like 205. Anyway, you can also reach out to us on Instagram. That's HatePod. On Twitter, that's Album HatePod. And I'm Garrett. That's G Harvey Tweets, @G Harvey Tweets on Twitter if you want to talk to me exclusively. And I don't really care. Reach out to any of those. We're all kind of in the same thing. So, obviously you can't get a hold of Tim through my Twitter, I hope. Let me know if he starts talking to you through my Twitter. Anyway, we've got subreddits. We've got Discord server, though I have no idea how to join it. We should really learn how to do that.
But we've joined it. Just don't know how to get back to it.
Sure, we joined it. I just don't know how to. I don't know how to get other people to join it. But we're in there. Oh, sure, we are in there. What else is there? That's about it. There's all the fucking ways to talk to us, and we want to hear from you. God knows we do. So get out there, reach out, let us know your thoughts. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been your other host, Timothy P. Richardson, and on August 12th, 2015, Garrett P. Harvey said, "You can't base plans on something you saw in Home Alone, or God forbid, DuckTales."
That's a nice one.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
I strangled them all, of course.